Tacklin Life TV, where we aim to create memorable moments through honesty, vulnerability, testimony, and most importantly, human interaction. Carlos, you got your guest here today.
Yeah, this is a special moment for me today.
Okay.
I met her about 4 or 5 years ago. I met her on a show, NBC Strong, that I was working on, and the second I met her, I knew she was going to be one of the top producer directors in Hollywood, and she's worked on some of our most favorite shows. I'll let her tell us more about that.
Yeah, okay. All right.
She got accolades.
Okay.
You know, so Camelia, welcome to the show today.
Thank you guys for having me here. I'm great. Thank you guys.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself. Give us a little background for the people that are watching.
Yeah, well, I guess professionally, my title, I'm a challenge producer. So I work on different reality competition shows and game shows. So I usually tell people that, and they're like, what does that mean? I have no idea. That's a job? People do that? It's like, yeah, if you watch any game show, like even from like The Price is Right, which is like my all-time favorite game show, someone has to come up with those games and figure out like, what are we going to make people do and have something that's fun and exciting. And so if it's like a competition show or a game show, there's somebody who's in a room coming up with creative things, and some of them are physical, some of them are mental, but it's trying to find, create TV that people want to watch at home. So
let's talk about you're from the East Coast. You're from DC, right?
I am originally,
DC
yes.
Out there, out there, going.
What you like, go?
But let's talk about that. Talk about the start. Like, how did you even start thinking you can be a producer or be a talent?
Well, I didn't think I didn't want to be a producer because I wanted to do something more creative. I started when I first moved to LA 12 years ago. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be on camera, and that just started off for me just doing, like private state productions in like elementary school and middle school and theater in high school, and I got a regular job outside of and after college. Everything that I've ever done has kind of been led to being something that's kind of in the corporate world. So. I did that, and basically after a year of graduating, I realized that I did not want to do that, and I wanted to do something completely different, which was very difficult, like explaining to my Jamaican immigrant parents that I wanted to move to LA after going through college and all that. And but I did move here, and quickly realized that I'm just too much of a control freak to be an actor, and wanted to be behind the camera and be the person that's putting things together and developing, and that's kind of just, kind of fell into that.
Nice.
Well, that's the thing a lot of people don't see. Like, there's so much that goes on behind the camera. In order for, and Carrie has acted before, directed, there's so much that goes on behind the camera in order for what's in front of the camera, to work. Even for me, through my evolution, just learning that, challenge is a whole world, So for me, how is that moving from corporate to coming to Hollywood, LA, which is a very humbling place? As a woman in Hollywood, how has that transition been from the beginning and to
Well, it's
now?
interesting because I was, when I say I was corporate, actually worked at HBO for a few years. So I worked in production, in physical production. So that was all scheduling and budgeting. So the people that put together those budgets and figure out how we're going to shoot and how long we're going to shoot, hire all of the, the department heads. Coming from that and deciding that, I want to do something more creative and figuring out like, well, what is that? Like, what is the creative thing? What do I love?
Trying to find your voice.
Trying to find my voice and figure out like, for me, what it came down to was like, I really wanted to be passionate about something that I did. If I'm going to put in this many hours and be away from my entire family, it's got to be something that I love. And so I had a good long, look at myself and trying to figure that out. And I remember telling people like, I'm going to leave to go work on game shows. Everyone was like,
wait, what?
Like, you don't leave HBO to go work on game shows. Usually people are trying to get out of reality into like competition shows and come to like the scripted world. But for me, it was like, I want to do the complete opposite. Like, I want to have fun every single day, and I want to give other people the opportunity to have fun. And I just love to see people winning. And so that's what kind of made me want to transition into that world. And so, again, going into that, there aren't a lot of female challenge producers and people of color doing that. So just getting that opportunity and saying, I'm going to work hard, work extremely hard, work harder than everyone, and trying to just like work my way up and do that, because it's something that's very different for someone that looks like me in that field.
Have you always seen yourself as a risk taker, or you kind of just evolved that way through?
No, I was definitely not. Leaving, that was the hardest decision I've ever made in my life. Because one, I left and I didn't have a job. It's like, and that's not me. Like my whole life, I've always been like an excellent student. And so, I got a full academic scholarship to go to college. So it was like, I was on this path that was very much like, you work hard and being an immigrant, you know, I was expected to be a doctor, a lawyer, all of them, you know, that's just like that coming from that kind of childhood, that, you know, uprights. And so for me, it was leaving and walking away was the biggest thing that I've ever done, that I felt like, okay, I just don't have a roadmap now, and I'm just going to figure out. I'm going to trust that my talent will open up doors for me, and that my hard work will get me to the right place.
Just to follow up real quick, I think that's a real key point and a key moment for you, and I think a lot of other people that will be watching this show as well. I think you have to put yourself in vulnerable situations to fail, and like failure is not a bad thing, and so having that non-fear of failing for you, I mean, look where you are now. And I think as listeners and other people watching the show, I think that's a valuable tidbit you can take from anybody trying to go out and achieve greatness, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't like using this word, but one thing, a reoccurring theme when people are following whatever it is that they feel is sacrifice, right? It's, for me, like for you to, and it's important because, and I lost my train of thought here. The thing, or you said you went left, you went completely left and opposite of what everybody is doing. And I think that's something that's very, very key, because you see a lot of people trying to do and emulate and be the same thing, right? And it's always the crazy ones who decide to be like, I don't want to do this, let me go over here. And because when you find yourself on the other side of the fence with everybody, in my mind, I'm like, that's the wrong place to be. Right? Let me go challenge myself in a very different way, because how else will we know what we're made of until we do that?
And I think that's the key thing. It's like, you know, for me, and I had times where I even also prayed and said, God, let me just be happy with a 9-to-5 job. You know, because I can go back home and be with my family. I'm the only person in my family here. And so you have to be able to, I got to the point where that 9-to-5 job was uncomfortable for me. It's like, I know I'm supposed to be doing something else. Like, I wish I could get up every day and just go and put in my hours and come home and have dinner and do it all over again. But I knew something was different for me.
Wow. Well, I think that's amazing. I think sending that message to our young women, women of color, and just anybody else watching the show as well, I think as you get to a point of comfortability, I think that's the part where we really lose ourselves, because obviously there's so much more for us to gain and so much more knowledge. And I think me and Carlos, just in particular, like we've always wanted to broaden our intellect and learn things on a consistent basis. So hearing these stories like this of people going out and stepping outside of what their comfort zone is and what it usually was is amazing. And so I applaud you for going out and being so aggressive towards your goals. It's amazing.
Thank you. And I think that's what it is about. I think to be alive, to be a human being, you're always supposed to be developing and growing. It's all about evolution. So when you get to a place where you're comfortable and complacent, essentially you're dying. Absolutely. You're not living to your true essence, which is to always be evolving.
Right. Yeah, so what's your general, right now, when you look at TV shows, right? There's TV shows when we were kids that were amazing and awesome. You look at where TV has kind of evolved and transitioned into what stories are being told, how they're being told, especially with people of color. Like when well, now with streaming and media, you can kind of tell your story anywhere you want to.
Yeah, sure.
How do you feel in the current state of media and TV shows and how stories are being told or people being portrayed?
I think we're at an interesting time where it's almost like the landscape is flooded with opportunities to see different voices, right? And so I feel like really great about where we are in television. So you can whether it's digital, whether it's analog, you can find a story about people who look like you, who are interested in things that you're interested in, or people that are completely opposite from you. And I think that's what's great, because it's bringing people together. You can have conversations about things that you've watched on TV, and you learn about different cultures and different people and their lifestyles. And I think it's a great way for us to kind of I think bring people together.
Well, I think you're such an important person right now in the place of creating and developing things, because your mindset, number one, but also you're going out and creating new things and going out, and some people may find obscure ways to get your stuff out there, right? Now, we're going to talk about your game a little bit. You brought a game, Brilliant or BS. What
Brilliant
is that
or
about?
BS. So it's actually a party game, a trivia game that I created. So again, obviously I love game shows and competition shows. But what I do in my personal life, I'm always going to game night and creating things and having people over and be like, hey guys, try this out.
Yeah.
So I finally came up with something, was like, you know what? I tested it out with some friends and they said, you should make this a game. You should actually sell this. Like, I would buy this if it was in a TV store. So
You just didn't like taboo.
Yeah.
Just like, I want to do my own thing, right?
I want to do my own thing. Like, I'm at the point where it's like, I'm no longer asking for permission to do anything. And that's why I think going back to kind of what you're saying with the TV landscape, it's like, you don't have to go the traditional route of like pitching a show, getting a production company. You can pick up a camera and like, there's an audience for you, you find them and you get your stuff made, right? And essentially what you guys are doing too with this show. And so that's what I wanted to do with my game show. So I created a party game and it's, I raised $10,000 for it in Kickstarter and we're about to start launching and selling it on our website. So I'm really excited about it.
So once again, you took another risk.
Yes.
And you want to do one round?
You guys want to do a round?
Can we do one round? We can do one round.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let me explain it to you. So it's called Brilliance or BS, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a trivia game. But it's not just about what you know, it's what you can convince other people you know. So if you're good at trivia, you can win this game, or if you're good at BSing or just being really convincing, you can also win this game.
Cheaters never win. I know that much.
So I'm going to explain how this works. So I'm going to read a trivia question to you guys, right? I'm going to read a trivia question, and then you guys are going to use your ABC answer cards to answer the trivia question, but you're going to hide it from each other and hide it from me so I don't see your answer. So,
all right, cool.
And after I read the questions, you're going to put your answer face down. And then one by one, I'm going to ask you guys to explain to me how or why you know the answer, but you can't say any of the answers in your answer. Does that make sense?
Just how
you know it.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So you're going to explain how you know it. You're going to try to convince me to give you this card, the brilliant card. So if you don't know the answer, you got to make something up.
All right, cool.
You just got to sound convincing.
I got
right?
it.
So if you get me to give you this card, you automatically get 2 points.
Got it.
Right? If you get the question right, you get a point. But if I think you're BSing, you're getting this card. Oh. So you're just trying to convince me that you know the answer, even if you don't.
A salesman is what you're saying. Okay.
All right, cool. So turn your cards around so I can't see the answers.
Oh.
Okay, so there, ABC, flip them around.
Got it.
Oh, so
all right, so I'm going to read it.
So we put the letter down.
You put the letter down that
Got
you
it.
think is the correct answer, but hide it from each other and hide it from me so I don't see the answer.
For a slow one, though.
Okay. All right, you ready? You guys are sports guys, so let me give you a sports question. All right. The famous Rumble in the Jungle boxing match between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman was held where? Was it A, South Africa, B, Kenya, or C, Zaire? You're going to put your answer down, face down.
Real quick.
A, South Africa, B, Kenya, C, Zaire. Okay, so now you're going to try to convince me to give you this brilliant card. Explain to me how or why you know the answer, and you can't say any of the answers in your answer.
I know the answer because I saw Muhammad Ali, and that movie was amazing, and I was like, that's the place, that's the thrilling, and I almost said the word, but it was that was the movie. I got it from the movie, Muhammad Ali, Will Smith.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, Carlos?
Yeah, I got it.
You can trash talk each other. You can do that too.
That's all you got, man.
That's all I got.
Well, I too watched the movie.
Okay.
And
Rebuttal.
I read a book on Muhammad Ali. He talked a lot about how he wanted to give back.
Of course you read a book.
Of course I did. That's how I know these things, man. I read a book. He talked about how he wanted to give back to a certain place and a certain country, which made me go and research that country. And I learned a lot about my history and my background.
This sounds like a lot of BS, actually. If I had the card, that's BS.
You were too smart.
Okay.
So you know what I mean?
This one's hard.
Yeah, if I was.
He gave a little bit more background that made me feel like he's telling the truth. Mm-hmm. Your answer was good, but it was also a superficial answer. Like you could have skated by with it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Back in college.
I'm gonna give the brilliant card to Carlos. And sorry, Carrie, I got to give you the BS card.
I'll take it.
All right, so the correct answer was C, Zaire. So reveal your answers now.
And what you put? He did all that. He did all that and didn't know.
But did you know?
I did not know either. But that's why mine was really brilliant, because I had no idea. So
I said South Africa, and I was like, that could be a bunch of places.
Oh my God. He had this whole soliloquy about, I watched the movie,
That's the point of the game, man.
That's the point of the game.
I
All
know,
right,
but he was BS. So that's, okay, I got it.
So that's how the game works. So Carlos would have run that round because he got 2 points for getting the brilliant card. You convinced me. All right.
Good job, Carlos.
Cool, man.
All right.
Even though you were wrong.
I buy this game. I
that's
think
really good.
this is one of them. This is one that will start a lot of arguments.
This would be arguments. This would be a lot of.
This might be worse than Monopoly. You know, when we start Monopoly and people start taking properties.
But Monopoly's long, so this is like instant, like fight, right now,
it's
like
instant.
instant.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put people together, not have
No,
a fight, but
instant
you know.
fight, but together, no.
Well,
But you're bringing people together.
Passionate,
You're
yes.
bringing people
Passionate.
together. Yeah,
That's what I
You
am.
can't control where they'll go with it.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yo,
fun. That's
awesome,
excellent.
awesome game,
Great game.
guys.
Thank you.
Brilliant and BS.
Check it out.
Check it out, man.
Sure.
I guess how much time? We got a couple minutes. Let's talk about Hollywood and women in Hollywood, and you know we have a lot of Me Too movement and stuff, and how women are portrayed in Hollywood. And any advice for any woman getting into it? And because you've been in Hollywood for a while, so you've been here to see it on one end, and now you're on the other end. Were there things that you didn't recognize in the beginning now where you were like, oh, this is what this was, or that what that was? Like, are there things that you're more aware of now?
I would say yes, especially now that I'm in a position where I can hire people, you know, and I can go out and bring other women in, you know.
Right.
And so I think starting off as a PA, I was just bright and young and eager and just wanted to do anything.
Yeah.
And but I was very lucky that I've always found women along the way that we're great in bringing each other up. You know, like, so whenever I get a call and someone's like, hey, I'm looking for an associate producer, I'm looking for this, I immediately go to all the women that I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you working? Are you available? Send me your resume. So I think what's really important is that, one, having that you know, that mindset of wanting to be someone who's going to work very hard, but building relationships and finding people that are going to be your advocate, someone who's going to be an ally. And you know that immediately, someone who's willing to invest the time in you to actually develop you and teach you about the business and teach you how things are working. And I was very fortunate along the way to find those women. So I make sure I always give back in that way as well.
Kind of a follow-up to that same question. I think the beauty of what's happening right now in Hollywood now as well, like I said, with people of color, is we're hiring more people of color, right?
Yes.
So we're giving these and lending these opportunities for people to come in and be creative and show the knowledge they have as well on certain subjects and certain titles as well. And I think that's brilliant because for so long we've had the mentality that if one person of color makes it, that's it. And so we wouldn't tell the secrets, we wouldn't tell the things that would help them advance in their careers as well. But now I think we're sharing that knowledge and know that, like we said, we're not fighting over the same opportunities anymore. There's more of that going along. So like I said, I mean, when you have somebody like yourself that's putting that out there and bringing other people along, that's such a brilliant thing. So
thank you.
It's another
we definitely have to. We definitely have to reach back, and it's one of those things where there's a lot of people who have sacrificed things for us to be able to sit here now. Like there were things that we sacrificed as kids for the quote unquote millennials now, that there's a freedom that they have that we did not have when we were kids.
Sure.
Like, I would love to go out and just say, hey, I'm going to move to LA and ride share and do this and do that and kind of live the life and kind of up and switch jobs every six months. Like if we would have told our parents that as kids, they'd be like, wait, what? No, you need to get married, go to school, get an education, this. And I admire the evolution, just where things are now, because now people are starting to take more control of where they want their lives.
Absolutely. And isn't that the dream though? Is like, I think about I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have my parents who worked so hard diligently and went up to get up to go to work every single day.
Right.
To be at the point where I'm like, oh, I want to be fulfilled in what I do, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's definitely a first world problem for sure.
Right.
But like, I wouldn't be and have this opportunity if it wasn't for my parents. And then I want my children to be able to be in the position where they're like, you know what, I want to be able to give back to the world, and they're not thinking about going to work every day and having something that's just to get a paycheck. So I think it's like we said, it's always about evolution and growing and developing. I think that's the whole point.
Like you said, if you're not growing, you're dying, because it's from the book Celestine Prophecy that our job as kids is to take where our parents failed to another level.
Yes.
They did the best that they could with whatever they had. We took that knowledge, we scooped it up, what's for us, what's not, and we took it to another level. Your kids are going to do that. Your kids are going to do that. But like you said, we always have to be constantly growing, challenge ourselves in very different ways, and putting the right people around you.
Yeah.
So
it's all about your team.
I just want to applaud you again. I think you're setting the trail and blazing it on fire for other people behind you. And
thank you.
I think you're a real risk taker. And I've met you once before, but like hearing you tell your story today it's been amazing. And just to hear that backstory and hear where you came from to where you are now, it's remarkable. So young girls, look at this woman. She's doing her thing, and we appreciate you being on the show.
All right.
Yes,
Guys.
but before you go, we're going to play a little game called This or That. Now, we have our own game.
Okay, I see.
This or That,
okay,
where you're going to answer.
very bold. You're asking a challenge producer. Okay, go ahead.
Where you're going to answer one of the, you have two answers. You got to pick one rapid fire.
Okay,
Ready?
Okay.
30 seconds on the
30
clock.
seconds.
go.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
That old saying, there is no wrong answer, is wrong.
Throw it out the window. Throw it
Okay.
out the window. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out?
In and out.
Okay.
Matrix or Memento?
Memento.
Christopher Nolan or Tarantino?
Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
Spielberg or Scorsese?
Spielberg.
Get Out or Do the Right Thing?
Oh.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
Get out. Get out. Get out.
Black Panther or Blank Man? Thanos or the Joker?
Thanos.
Very last one. Drum roll. Love Jones or Love and Basketball?
Ooh.
Now that I'm older, I gotta say Love Jones.
Okay.
Love Jones.
I approve. The last one, though, I'm taking Love and Basketball.
Yeah, I'm a Love and Basketball guy
Yeah,
too.
well, you guys are
Yeah.
athletes, of
No,
course.
but
We're gonna go with the Love
Come on,
and
dog.
Basketball.
Love.
Yes, but
Love
like,
and Basketball. You're going to play me from my heart.
yes.
You know, that was
That's
great.
classic, classic
that hit me,
movie.
D.
But
I
I
just got
feel like
goosebumps.
now that I'm a grown woman, like I get Love Jones a lot more than I did
Once
20
again, we're
years
back on-
ago.
We're back on Evolution.
We're back. We're back.
Camille, look, thanks for,
you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
for coming in
Amazing.
today. You can binge watch all the episodes at the URL on EverTalk TV, Tacklin Life TV, on Apple TV and Roku. Thanks. See y'all soon.
Great.
Oh!
That was